Without naming names, what's one transformation story that really surprised you with how much impact small changes could make?
So we worked with a large financial institution. A lot of them have the same things in common and why their transformations typically don't work. Number one, they're slow on delivering. Number two, they lack innovation. They have really cool ideas, but actually getting those ideas out there is really hard. Number three, business and IT aren't aligned with each other or committed to each other. They've been trained on it, but business doesn't show up, and they still want to throw things over the proverbial wall. So these challenges kind of exist, and it's really hard to drive change in organizations. We ran an analogy with them, and then I'll tell you their story. But this analogy, if we were in person here, Todd, I'd have you draw a tree on a piece of paper for me. And if you were to draw that tree, and we did this with the executives, we do this a lot of executives, we have them draw a tree as an analogy. And what they do is they all draw the same thing. They draw a trunk with a furry ball on top. And then we say, well, what are you missing in your drawing? And they look at it and they say, well, I have branches in there, and maybe I didn't draw the grass. But we say, no. There's something holistic about the tree that you don't draw when you draw trees, and nobody draws it, and that's the roots. When you draw trees, hardly anybody draws the roots when they draw a tree. And why don't you draw the roots, Todd?
Because you don't see them.
Because you don't see them. Yeah, out of sight, out of mind. But are the roots important to a tree?
Absolutely. They're really the reason the tree exists in the first place.
Exactly. And so they provide nutrients, they keep it stable when the wind blows, but we don't draw them because we don't see them. And we use that analogy, and we use this analogy with this financial institution because we said most organizations approach transformation the same way they approach drawing a tree. They only focus on what they can see. And in these transformations, the things that you could see are the strategies, the Venn diagrams, three circles coming together, and this is where we're going to go in our strategy, or the process that we're going to put in place to be successful that you draw out with decision boxes, or the org chart that has dotted lines and boxes between them, or the system that you can touch and feel. But most organizations don't focus on the roots, and the roots in this analogy represent the culture of how things get done. So this is the unwritten rules about how work actually happens here. It represents the assumptions people make about why I work here and what I want to get out of this job, the values they hold dear and how those values align with the organization, and ultimately the behaviors